Hello everybody, it's Dawn with Wreath Decor by Dawn. I'm going to do a winter grapevine for you today. I have some ficus here, some pines, some blocked winter, I believe these are roses. Yeah, they look like it. And then a couple of other things here to add into it. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. I'm using an 18-inch grapevine. This one is actually round, but it looks more oval. But we're going to use that. Alright, so I'm going to cut my ficus here. It's got 3 arms on it. I'm going to move you in a little closer here. Hopefully that'll help you to see. So I'm going to cut off the side arms on 2 of them. I do have another one just in case. So I'm going to use the center ones, and then we'll use these to fill in on the sides. Alright, so I want to go with the shape of my grapevine here. So we're going to go in here on the top, and then on the bottom we'll do the same. Obviously we don't need it this long, so I'm going to cut this down. Alright, let's put this one in. I'm going to grab some glue here. And I want it to come out about right here, so I'm going to go in here. Right down into the center. I don't want it poking through. And then we're going to bend it to match the shape. Right there. And then we will put a zip tie in there later. But right now I'm going to wait until we get some more layers on here. And then we'll zip tie all of it together. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other end. I'm going to go in right here. Yeah, about right here. Okay, let me see. I'm going to make sure that I'm not going through to the back. So don't want that poking through. Right there. And then we're going to do the same at the bottom. We're going to make it go with the shape of our grapevine. So we'll bend it a little bit there. And again, we will put some zip ties on here after we get a couple of layers on. Now I'm going to take my side pieces that I cut off, and I'm going to straighten them out because they have a little curve to them. And I'm going to put them up underneath what I just put in there. So I want this one, and I want the 2 that match this one. So we're going to get some more glue. And now we're going to go right up underneath it and let it go straight down. Do the same up top. Hope y'all are doing well. Getting ready for the holidays, I suppose. Right there. So that's what we've got so far. And now I'm going to take these side pieces and I'm going to cut them down into 2 pieces each. And we're going to use these for the inside and the outside in the center. So we don't need it that long. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go like right here. And I'm just going straight into the side so it fills in that area there. I'm going to do one up top here. I'm going to go right up underneath. I'm going straight into the side through all that grapevine. There we go. There's one. We'll take the other one. And do the same thing right here. We'll go straight in here, adding that. So it fills in that center part right there. Do that again on the outside. On the outside, I'm going to go down at an angle so that it matches the flow of the top here. And this one will come up because our bow's going to be in the center, so it'll be covering that up. But we do have an extra one if we need to fill in any underneath our bow once we put that in. This one, we're going to do the same. We'll lift this up here, and I'm going to weave it in there. So that's what it looks like when you have it all on there. So that's 2 pieces of ficus now. And don't forget our bow's going here. So now that we have that in, I want to put my pine in. So these are just some pine sprays. Has a pine cone on it. We'll leave the pine cone for now. Normally I take that off, but we'll leave it for now. I have 2 of those. And then these have this long needle pine on them. It has the pine cone, and then it has some cedar on it. This one's all scrunched up here. Spread that out. I don't know why that's all scrunched up. So we're just fluffing it out, moving things around. There we go. So it opens it up a little bit. So this one we can put up top here. We're going to layer that on there. And then we're going to do the same with this one. So you got 3 pieces of this long needle pine on it, and then 3 or 4 pieces of this cypress or cedar or whatever it is. And then that one's going to go right here. So we're going to bend it, of course, to match the flow of our grapevine. So I'm going to take this one and we're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it at an angle. Right there. And we're going to put that in here underneath all of this. Layer it right on top of our ficus. Like that. And then you can bend your pieces to go with the flow of your grapevine. So let me get some glue on this one. Make sure I put it back in where I wanted it. We're going to go right up underneath our grapevine, and we're going to weave that in right there. And then same thing with this one. Not liking how this is all smushed up. Might have to fix that. Alright, so we've got that one there. We want this one to come probably right next to it. See where I got it opening. I'm going to pull this in a little closer. Right there. And then we'll bend that out. we know where we want it, we can cut it down. And put that in there. So we're going to go right down in here, weave that in right there. And then that's where we can zip tie this all down so that it helps hold it in place, but it also helps to keep it from flopping around when it's lifted up. So I'm going to take 2 small zip ties. These are about 6, 7, 8 inch. I think they're 6. Yeah, they're 6 inch. I'm using black. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go right around the main stem of both the ficus and this pine that we put in. So I'm looking for that bottom one right here. So let me lift up a couple pieces so I can get underneath here and get the grapevine. You want a couple pieces of the grapevine in case one piece breaks. You've still got another or 2 to hold it in. Let's see, it doesn't want to go in there. Let me go around this way. Maybe I can get it to come out this way. Get my 2 main stems. And let's grab some grapevine. I'm going to have to use this to pull it up. Alright, we finally got that on there. So I'm zip tying at the top so that that locking part's up top and can be hidden. So you won't see it. It goes through the center of the grapevine, so you're not going to see it around the back side either. So we're going to pull that tight. There we go. Snip that off, and now it can't be seen. It's underneath all of this pine and stuff. So now I'm going to take my ficus and we're going to weave it in with the other piece so that it all looks like it belongs together. It's not actually laying on top of each other. Kind of like that. Now we'll do the same at this end. Let's find a good spot on the main stem of both of these pieces. Right here. Okay, we got lucky on that one. There's 2 good pieces right here. See if I can guide my zip tie up to where I want it. I need it to go around both stems right here. There we go. All right. Push that down. Move my stuff around. Right there, right there. Pull up the ficus here so that it all looks like it's intermingled together and not just laying on top of each other. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and make a bow and then we'll put the rest of it in. All right, we're going to use the Easy Bow Stow and Go. You'll find that in my shop if you're looking for a bow maker. I carry those. You'll find them there. And let's take our pin out of here. All right. Put this on here. I'm going to make sure there's ribbon or nothing is coming apart on this ribbon because it's got this piece sewn on top. So I just want to make sure. Alright, so I want to do my tails probably about 14 inches. So it's going to be about the length of my board. So I'm going to scrunch. It's a very thick ribbon. So we're going to scrunch. And we're going to lay this down in here and twist. So now we have the back side facing up. We're going to do about a 6.5 inch loop. And now we got to scrunch this down. So I'm going to do it by hand because it's so thick that it wouldn't scrunch any other way. And I can't make a hand bow, so my hands don't allow for that. Alright, so that's about a 7 inch. Now we have to twist this one. And we're going to twist it this direction. And again, we're going to do about a 7 inch. I'm going to scrunch it down. Well, let's do it this way. Scrunch it down that way. There we go. Now this one, oh, let me see. Do I want another tail coming down or not? Let's go up with it. I am going to cut it a little bit longer. Now with these thicker ones you could fold them over. Because that is sewn on there, we'll put a dab of glue in there to keep that from coming undone. But it doesn't have that nice finished backing on it, so I'm going to probably angle cut that. So we'll do that with that one. Let's take this off of here. I think I want to I am going to cut this one here. I think I'm going to put a strip under there and make another tail. I'll show you what I'm doing here in just a second. keeps coming off. Alright, so I cut a 16-inch because my tail is 14-inch. I'm going to scrunch this up, and I'm just going to lift my bow a tad, and we're going to squeeze this in underneath so that it makes two tails coming down at the bottom. So I want about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch underneath here so that when I put that zip tie on, I can get it around that. So see, I have two tails now, and then this one going up. So we just added it in there. Alright, now that that's done, let's take this one. These pins are very small, so they're hard to get a hold of. Alright, let's take this one. This one I think we want one tail. So I'm going to do it a little bit longer because they have it folded at the end and I don't want that fold. We'll have to cut that. So I'm going to do it a little bit short or longer. Let's scrunch this up here. It's even thicker than the other one with all this chunky glitter on it. Alright, that's not going to hold very well there. There we go. Alright, now, got a twist. Now this one we're going to do a little bit shorter, so about 6 inches, and then twist this one down here. That's going to be a thick one. And 6 inches here. And I think we're going to come down again. Oops. All that chunky glitter is getting under my fingernails. Let's see if we can get this back in it now. It's probably not going to stay very well, but we'll leave it for now. Alright, and then we're going to go in with our tweed, and we're going to do if I can find the pin. There it is. Oh, Lord. They need to put bigger pins. Some of us have fat fingers. Alright, so this one is a really strong one with the wire. We're going to go 1. And then we're going to make 1 loop with this. So this will be about 5 inches now. Twist it. And another 5 inch. Right about here. Oh, well, there goes that. And then this one we're going to go up. We're not going to need, we don't need 2 tails. Alright. That's a thick bow, that's for sure. Alright, so I'm going to pull it off of here. I'm going to grab all of this on one side here really tight, hold it, and I'm going to pull up and pull that off. I'm going to take my zip tie and I'm going to scoot it to the center here and then pull it around, and then I'm going to tighten it up some more. And I'm trying to push all of that down to compact it just a tad bit more so that it's not sticking out so far. Alright, now we can go ahead and work our tails. Put them in the center where they belong. Right there. And then this top one will go right down the middle. Alright, now we can fluff out our loops. Straighten up our wires. And we'll get our up tails in place here. So we only have 2 of them. Alright, now before I cinch that down any further, I need to get another zip tie underneath it so that this one can put it on, hold it to the grapevine. So I'm going to squish this down a little bit, and I'm going to work this up underneath. Right there. Now we're going to take our zip tie tool and we're going to cinch that down a little more and cut it off. Alright, there's our bow. Let's get our grapevine back up here. And we're going to take our bow and we're going to put that right in here. I'm going to go through the center, around all these branches. Try and get it through to the other side. Some glue blocking me, so I got to weave it in there. There it goes. Right here. Attach it together and pull it. Get it nice and tight. Pine cone's in the way, we'll move it over right there. And then we're going to cinch this down, get it tight. Trying to make sure that it gets tight enough so that my bow doesn't flop around. There we go. Now we can maneuver everything. So let's get the pine cone over that way. Keep this one right here. Let's open up these loops. And then we're going to cut these at an angle. I don't like, I can fold it back the other way is what I can do. Instead of, I gotta cut this wire off though. I'm gonna stab somebody. So you can fold it the opposite direction so it holds all that together, but it's still going to require some glue because that piece that is sewn to the center is not gonna stay. So see, we'd have to glue this. So let me get a little bit of glue here. This is coming apart. So I'm going to cut this off. I have a little stick here that I use that I can put the glue on. So just get a little bit on my stick and I'm going to take it and I'm going to run a little bit of that glue on the back of this material here. And then we'll fold it over and hold that for just a second. Once that dries up a little bit, then we'll put a little bit more on there. Cut off these little fray pieces. A little bit more here. And you just want to tap it down. Don't try to spread it out because it'll ooze out on you. Now with this one, we're going to cut it at an angle. You could also fold that one back. I'll do the fold here. There. I don't want it to unravel, so I'm going to fold it. There we go. It's got a very strong ribbon or wire, so it's not going to it'll, mold very easily. This one's already folded over. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. All right, now that we know the bow's where we want it, let's get these cut off. All right, now our white, you could dovetail this one, but since we didn't dovetail any of our other ones, let's just fold it as well. So we're going to fold these back. Oh, that wire is just so thick. There's one. Let's fold it a second time. There we go. Same with this one. Fold it twice. And then just go back and hit it with a little bit of glue. You could use a glue gun as well. I just don't have mine plugged in. There we go. And then we're going to shape them the way we want it. There we go. All right, so let me show you the bow. There's our bow. Now let's get our flowers on here. All right, so we have these 3 big flocked flowers that we're going to use. These came from Michael's, would have been last year. Best time to buy things is, of course, the end of the season. Now, we don't need all the green leaves on here, but we can take them off and maybe use them, pop them in if we need to. But we just want the flower. So we've got that real pretty flocked flower. I don't know if these are peonies or if they are, it doesn't say, it just says Christmas. Sometimes they'll tell you what kind they are. But to me, Oh, I can't think what the other flower is. All right, so I'm going to cut these. I want it a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it right here where that leaf was. I don't want them sunken in or laying too flat. So I'm going to cut them long so that I can cut it down if I want to. But right now I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to put it like right in here, I think. But see, I want it standing up. I don't want it laying, flat. So we could cut this just a little. And that way it'll still stand up. And I'm going to put it right in here. Get some glue on that. And then we're going to go right in. I'm going to lift up my cedar on here. And I'm going to go right in here. Right there. So that it stands up. We'll put another one down here. And then we have a third one that we'll find where we want to put it. I'm going to cut this one about the same length. And we're going to go right down here. Let me move this bow maker out of the way. There we go. Alright, so this one's going to go over here. I think I'm going to go like right here, and then maybe that third one we can put right there. Or we could put it up top. I think this one's going to go right here. Yep. Lift that. Careful with that long needle pine because once it gets glue on it, it shrivels up. There we go. Alright, let me take a look. Okay, we've got our third one right here. If we need the fillers, we can use those for fillers. And I'm going to cut this one right here. Alright, let me look and see if I want it down here. Do I want it down here or do I want it up top? Or it could go over here. I think I like it over here. Alright, so it's going to come out the side here. And it's going to go right here. There's a nice big opening for it right there. I think it's going to go there. I'm going to bend this a little more so that it slides in there. Give me a nice dollop of glue. And we're going to go right down in this opening and slide that in there. Yeah, I like that. Yep. Alright, now we're going to take our pink and we're going to put those in. So I'm going to cut these off. Cutting them off long. Some of them have notches that show you where you can cut them. And then I need this piece. That also doesn't tell me what it is, but these look like hydrangeas, I'm assuming. That's what they look like anyway. Let's see if I can put this on here. That might stay better on there. Alright, so these have got the flocked leaves as well as the flocked flowers. This one's coming off, so I'm going to take that off and I'm going to put it on, see if it'll go on here. There. Hopefully it'll stay on there. So I want to put these kind of in between. So it would go like right in here. So I'm going to put some glue on that, and I'm going to put that in that opening right there. Even these stems are flocked on this one. Alright, we're going to go right down in here. Let's lift up this. We're going to go right here. Push that in. And then you see it's just right there. Like that. And then we're going to do the same with one of these over here on the side. I think we're going to come out right behind this big loop on the bow and put this in here. Right there. And we're going to go right here and weave it in. Make sure it doesn't come out the back. So I want it just about the same length as my loop. There. Right there. So it's just enough to pop out from behind that leaf there, or that bow loop there, that loop. Now we're going to put another one up top here. And I think I want to go on the inside. This one can probably be broken down into two. I've put that smaller one somewhere else. So I'm going to take this one and we're going to come right inside here. I want to lift up my pine and go right down in here. Find a spot for it in the grapevine. Right in here. Yeah, right there. Sometimes you just got to do it a dry fit and make sure it's going to slide in there without any issues. Again, I'm going to grab this long needle pine so it doesn't burn it and shrivel up. There it goes. You want to make sure you're getting into that grapevine. So we got 1, 2, 3. Let's do another one coming out here. We've got 2 pieces left. Let me take a look. I want to put one up there and one down here. So the short one I think I'll put up top. This longer one I'm going to put right down here, coming out right there. See a nice opening right here for it. Right there. So it almost looks like it's trailing down. Get rid of these glue. And then the other one I want to do right up here between my 2 red ones. I want this one popping up right here. Like this. Alright, let's get this some glue. And we're going to go move our ficus out of the way, and we're going to go right in here and poke this in right there. There we go. I like that. Alright, now that we have those in there, let's see if there's any place, because these are really nice glitter or sugared leaves, and we can poke these in wherever we have like a little opening. And I see one right here, so I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to get it on there. And I'm going to take and pop this in here. I'm going to separate my grapevine and pop that in there. Then I think I'm going to do another one down here. I think right here. It's a nice big piece to add in right in here. Get that up underneath all that grapevine there. And then we could take a couple of these other pieces and layer them in up underneath all of our other that we put in. Right here. So it's just giving it another texture to add in with all this other greenery. Just barely can be seen. And then we'll do some on the inside as well. So here's a spot right there I see where we could use one. Get that out of the way. Whoops, get that in there. Make sure that's in there. Yep, okay. And then we're going to do the same thing down at this end. We're going to pop one right here. I see an opening. Now these don't have any wires or anything in them, so just be careful with that plastic that it doesn't melt it off. So there's one there. We have one left. Let me take a look and see if there's anything that I see. We could do one right in here. Right here. I'll get this pine cone up and out of the way. My nose feels like it's getting stuffy all of a sudden. Alright, let's see if we can get that in there without it. There. Alright. Now, we've got a couple of other things I was looking at maybe putting in. I'm not quite sure. This one must have fallen off of one of the leaves. Alright, so this, we're going to do one of these with. Alright, so I have these white pieces. I was thinking of poking these in there just to give it another texture and to get rid of them. I've had them forever. They just hang around everywhere I turn. There they are, you know what I mean? So I was hoping to get rid of them. Maybe we could add them into around the bow or something, I don't know. But I'm going to take one and I'm going to see what it looks like. So this one's got 3 pieces on it, I think. Right here, and this one has 3 pieces. That's 1 and 1. So we could probably cut this down. Alright, let's see. I was thinking that we could something like that, but I don't know. Doesn't look horrible. I don't know. It doesn't look horrible, so I'm going to try it. 1, 2, 3. May not need it that long, but I'm going to lift up this pine piece, and I'm thinking I'm going to stick it so it's just poking out over that. But I don't think we need it that long. Alright, let's see. Let's go right down in here. The grapevine's coming apart. So see, we've got that one there. Let's put one down here at the bottom so that we're even Steven. Come up underneath where I put these other pieces. And we're going to go right in here. Right there. So they're just peeking out, you know, they're not making a big old bold statement here. Alright, let's see if we can put another one in over here somewhere. There. It's just peeking out the side there. Oh, let's see here. That one, we'll take this one, and this one's got 3 pieces on it, but I think I'm going to take that one off and put it on here. Nope, it won't fit. It's too big. See if there's any other bigger pieces where I could put that one. Doesn't look like it. Okay. We'll leave it. We'll put it up at the top somewhere. Oh wait, will it fit on here? No. Okay, we'll leave it. Just take that nub off. Alright, we'll put this one on the outside here. We'll go see if we can get it right in here somewhere. Maybe we can layer it in right there. Go. And get all the greenery back where it was. Thinking I want to go underneath this flower with one. Right there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks good there. Alright, now we're going to repeat down here at the bottom. I want to add some more. Oops. Alright, right here we could use one. There we go. So we got some sticking out there. I want another one right here. This is one piece. So I think we're gonna use this like this and go right in here. Right about here. Right there. And then we've got one piece here. I think we'll put, well, we could take and make two out of it. Put them on the inside. So I'm going to take this one, it's the longer one. I'm going to come downward with it right here. And make sure my pieces are out of the way. Too much glue on there. And I want this one to come right here where there's an opening. I can slide it down in there. There. So that one's there. And then the other one, we're going to go the opposite side right here with it. See if I can get it in there. Right here. Yep, there we go. There. All right. Now, the only other thing I had was some red ficus. And this has got a foil look to it, but I don't know if I wanted to put it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the side arms here, cut it off, and then we're going to cut the top off of here. I'm going to cut it right here. And let me see if I want to add any of this in. Actually, I do like a little bit of that. So I think I'm going to take it, put some glue on it, and let's go up underneath here and we'll slide it in. Just so we get a little bit of it, not too much. Right there. And then we'll take a couple more pieces like this. I don't know that we can get any more in here. We've already filled all this space in. Lots of glue in there. No, I don't like that there. I like it at the end, but I don't like it in the middle. Let's see if I can get some in here. No, I don't like that. I'm going to cut this down. Like this. I think I'm going to put just little pieces in. Like that. It's not going to be a lot. It's just going to be little hints of it in here to fill some of these gaps. There we go. Let me get another little arm here. If we don't have to use a whole stem, that would be great. Alright, so now I want to put another one over here somewhere. Right in here, I see a place. Yeah, right there. So we got two pieces up top. Let me put one more over on this side. I think I'm going to do this one. I want it right in here. There we go. So it's just the slightest little hint of that red foil ficus. Ouch. Keeps stabbing me right there. Need to find out where that is and fix it. Alright, let me see. Thinking I'm going to put this one right up here somewhere. Alright, I'm going to try and get this down in here. A little gap right here underneath this ribbon. And I want to see if I can get this in there. Right here. So it's just going to have 2 or 3 little pieces sticking out. Alright. Any other ones? I see a hole right here. So I am going to take one more piece off of this. I'm going to cut the end off. I'm going to go to use those and they're going to be all cut up. I'll be trying to figure out why. Alright, so we've got this hole right here underneath this part of the bow. So we want to go ahead and fill this gap in right here. So I'm going to put this up under. Slide in. There it goes. There. Now that takes up that dead space right there. We've still got our pine cone here, so you can still see that. But it covers up that little space where there was an opening. So it's just little pops of that red. Not too much. And I think we're done. I will fix my ribbons. Make that one a little shorter, I think. And then I'll glue, I think this one I didn't glue yet. This one I didn't glue, so I'll glue that one. This one's good. It's glued. Nope. No, it's not. I think it must have been the top one I did. Alright, so we'll glue those. And then you can shape these. They've got such a thick wire in them. You could shape them any way you wanted. So I'm going to leave that open. Let's get this up top here. Fold it over. Get that off of there. Alright. I think that's going to do it for this one. And then this one here, you could take and curl it if you wanted to. I'm just going to let it drape down for now. But we could curl it with our dowel. And there we go. Let me open this back up so you can see it all. So tell me what you think. In the comments below. Be sure that if you're not following my page, that you hit that subscribe button. You can join my email list. There we go. And get notified whenever I have special sales or whenever I post a new video. So if you join that email list, you'll also get notified or get a notification for my Black Friday sale that I'm going to be having. 40% off of my wreaths. Wreaths, centerpiece, swags, all of that for Black Friday will be on sale. So you'll want to check that out. There's no coupon code needed. It'll just be an automatic thing. It starts Thanksgiving evening and it runs through the Cyber Monday. So check that out. If there's something in my shop you would like to get, we don't do this normally. We don't normally have sales, but this year we're going to have one because the way the economy has been for everyone, we thought we would help everyone out so they can get gifts or decorate their home. And we thought we would just give them all a little break, and we're doing 40% off. So that's the biggest sale we've ever had in the 8 years I've been doing this. So take advantage of it, please. Please be sure to subscribe and to leave a comment below.